it's Hillary. I am here in my studio in Los Angeles, and this week's workout came to me today as I was training my client on our hips. And we talk a lot about stability, which is important, but what about that dynamic stability while you're moving? So that's kind of what we're going to focus on today. We've got some mat. You don't need anything else, just you and your mat. So let's go ahead. You're just going to lie on your back, lying down. And we're going to have the arms at your side. We're going to do a little bit of Kathy Grant in our work today. So I want you to have your feet hip width apart and pretty close to you. And you can close your eyes if you want. I just want you to feel where you are on your mat. I want you to feel where your hips are. If one feels off, one feels heavier, maybe you feel height, whatever. And I want you to press your shoulders into the mat, feel the back of your head, and let's take that left foot. We're going to do what's called pistons. Take your left foot and press it into your mat. And you're going to take that right foot off, bending your knee towards your body, just where you can without anything changing. Meaning the weight stays the same on both hips, shoulders, back, and then that leg comes down, push into that right foot, and you're gonna lift the left. Yeah. And you're just thinking the lower part of that leg is just dead weight. It's just hanging there. Heels kind of just dangling in the air. And you're only bending in where you can keep everything evenly weighted. And then we'll pull it back in. Yep. And down. And just do one more each leg. Just like that, keeping the hips nice and heavy. You're really having to push into that foot that's on your mat. Especially the second, that foot on weights. Push in and up. Good. And then go ahead, lengthen your legs so they're nice and long. Good. And let's go ahead and we're going to just do, it's a little bit of, again, finding that stability, but we're going to do our 100th, but I want you to think of that same pushing and heaviness on both sides. So reach your arms long behind you. You're going to curl your head and shoulders up. Take those legs where you need them as you inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Inhale. Keep reaching. Exhale. Halfway there. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Two more. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale. And bring it all the way down. Good. Sorry, I have an itch on my nose. Okay, so let's go ahead. And I want you, if you have, I have a little lesson plan for you guys. I want to make sure I hit everything. If you have a strap, place your foot or feet under your strap. If you don't have a strap, don't worry about it. And you're going to lie all the way down. I'm sorry, I've got some allergies going today. And I want you to reach the arms here. So let's just kind of feel those hips again. So arms are going to come up. You're going to curl your head and shoulders up and really feel the push evenly of both hips as you round up, reaching, feeling that really nice spine stretch. Now think of those hips going back first, then the back, then those shoulders, and just find a pace that works for you. And doing that again, rounding, reaching, and then rolling all the way back down. Breathing through. Shoulders come up. So as the shoulders come up, push those hips deeper. Woo! And then all the way up. And then feel evenness as you go down. But you might feel like one hip kind of connects more than the other, right? And that's okay. What do you do to try to get them even? Do you need to reach one leg more? Maybe that's the culprit, right? And then rolling back. reaching again. And just find a pace. Let's kind of pick it up. See if you can maintain everything. Pulling back. And do one more here. Reach. And then all the way down. And then let's go ahead, unhook both legs. So think back to your pistons. And let's grab one leg, and I want you to this time pull it in as tight as you can and curl your head and shoulders up. Keep the other leg on the mat for now and see if you can find each hip even on your mat. Might be a challenge. And then reach the other leg. Can you still feel that hip even? And then we're gonna switch and pull. And as you do this, can you keep both sides of the hips even? Keep them from kind of hiking either way. Keep staying curled up. And think you're trying to curl up as you push the hips deeper into that mat. Inhale and exhale. Nice. And two more here. One more, really pull it in. And then bring both knees in and rest down. All right, so now the same thing, but double leg stretch. So again, just kind of pull the knees in. Now your hips may actually kind of curl up here. That's okay, but you should feel the back, that low back there. Curl the head, shoulders up. Now you're gonna reach your legs away. Keep your hips connected evenly and pulling back in. There's a lot more going on, but that's our focus today, yeah? Inhale. As you press out, squeeze those legs together. Exhale back in. Inhale. And exhale. Good, two more. One more. And rest it down. Awesome. Okay, so again, if you have a strap, you can use it. If not, we'll just go. So we're just gonna do a little kind of tick-tock here. It's kind of out of the plan here, but I want you to kind of feel this because we're going into corkscrew. So I want you to feel the lift of one hip as the other is down. So take the leg up, the other leg is firmly planted, and I want your arms at your side. And you're just gonna take that leg by lifting your hip off the mat, reaching it across. And then back to the center. Inhale, reach, only reach where this shoulder can stay. And then think about all this pulling back to the mat. Inhaling across. Exhaling back. Yeah, one more. Reach. And back. And then go ahead, just switch legs. If you have a strap, great. If not, just imagine this is your grounded leg. I'm so tight today. Holy cow. All right, same thing. Now the opposite hip is going to lift. And kind of start paying attention. Is this more range for you? Less range? How does it feel different? And try not to let that hip hike up towards your ribs. Keep it reaching. So you might have to like physically think about that. I know I do. And reach. Let's do two more here, and then we'll go into that corkscrew. Back to the center. One more here. And back to the center. All right. So let's kind of do the same thing we just did with two legs. It's like on our reformer, for those that do reformer with me in privates or classes, then you know arms are gonna stay. So we're gonna think this one hip is gonna lift to take both legs across, but I'm gonna reach that top leg so that this hip doesn't get left behind. And then I'm gonna pull them back to the center, pressing into those arms. Inhale, think about that top leg really reaching. That's gonna get that hip to really lift. Pull, let's do one more each side, keeping your head nice and heavy on your mat, not letting that change. One more. And back. So we're going into full corkscrew. We're gonna make that circle. So we'll go back to that first direction. Let the hip lift. Circle down. Both hips will connect. And then that other hip's gonna lift off. And then, oh, pull it back. And then reverse. Inhale. And really kind of take it today and feel those hips lift. Stay lifted. Connect both. Other one comes off. Back to the center. One more so we're even. And back. Pull your knees in. Give it a little stretch. Great. Lengthen your legs. We'll roll all the way up. And now what I want you to think about is the front. So we've been on our back. Now we're going to flip over to our front. So instead of this part of our hips, we're going into this part of our hips. So you're going to just be on your elbows. We're going to do our one leg kick. So you're going to be on your elbows. And just give it a little wiggle. Kind of feel your hips. And see if you could think about both hips reaching. Not that they're touching the back, but maybe they are. And then press into your arms and lift and pull through your chest. Now, see if you can not wiggle back and forth and do a little kick, kick, and kick, kick. So as you do this, think about the opposite leg, like we did our one leg circle or one leg tick-tock. Reaching, inhale, and exhale. And just see, can you keep both hips evenly reaching towards those reformers? Yeah. And again. One more here. And then rest. Let's go ahead and just sit back. Give it a little child's pose or whatever feels good. And then we're going to come back up. All right. So now what I want you to think about is a little bit more of movement with our hip stability. So I want you to our thigh stretch, kneeling thigh stretch. So you're on your knees. We're going to take those hips into a nice little curve. So we're kind of tucking in, and we're looking a little bit down, and arms are long. So what we're trying to do is as we go back, not let anything wiggle back here. Keeping that, and you're just going to inhale back, and exhale, press forward. And inhale back. And exhale. You're just going where you can go. But again, not letting anything get lost. Trying to think that you're still even through here, even though we're moving. Inhaling back and exhaling forward. I do one more. And then bring it all the way back up. All right, so now we're gonna go into a little more complex move with our scissors and our bicycle. So let's just reach the legs towards the sky. And what I want you to think about is you're going to use your hands behind your hips to feel, if anything, on weights. We ready? Here we go. Into our rollover, jackknife, where you can place those hands on those hips. Press the elbows in. And we're going to lengthen one leg as we reach the other. So really pay attention as you do this, that you're staying even in those hands. You're not letting the hips push down onto them. You're staying reaching and lengthened, but they're staying even, and then take it into that pedal of your bicycle. Still staying nice and even on those hands. Pushing into those elbows as best as you can, and reversing the bicycle. Inhale, exhale, woo. Good, keep reaching, and then legs together, arms at your side, and rolling down. See if you can get those hips nice and even. Lay on to your mat, and then bring your feet flat. So we're going to go into our shoulder bridge. So now, it's pretty much the same thing that we did on our roll-up earlier. I want you to have your feet hip-width apart, close to you as best you can, as long as your knees are happy. Arms into the mat, chest open, and let's just push into those feet and lift the hips up and away. And I'm super tight, so this is pretty much it for me today. Then what I want you to think is you're going to roll down from the top of your back. Take your chest down first. then your upper back, and then into the rib area, and then see, can both hips come evenly down together and release at the bottom. And do that again, pressing into those feet. Lift the hips where you can, open up that chest, rounding down from the top, down, 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 and release. Keep breathing, do 2 more here, pressing up, rolling down. Good, and we'll do 1 more. Press up and hold. See if you can push higher. See if you can keep those hips evenly up as you roll down until that moment when they're gonna have to start coming down. Rolling down. Oh, you feel all that tightness. Oh, I do. And then go ahead, lengthen your legs. And we're gonna roll it all the way up to a sitting position. So now we're gonna go into plank position and work on it there. So we're gonna do our leg pull front and back. Each time, that's gonna be our focus. So what I want you to do is just find your push-up position forward. So we're not transitioning because we're not going in order of our mat in terms of everything. So find your push-up position and see if you can think about both hips staying lengthened and long. And you're going to lengthen and lift one leg, trying to keep your hips towards the floor even, and switch. Think about the pistons we did in the very beginning. So that foot that's on the floor has to push and reach it away as the other leg moves. And we'll do 1 more, trying to keep the hips level. And then bring it down as best you can. If you can go into a little push-up all the way down. Woo! And then we'll flip over. So, we're kind of back to our shoulder bridge, but now longer lever, a little more challenging. Hands are behind you and the legs are reaching. So we're gonna, again, think about the hips reaching away. Can we stay even with those hips, not let anything drop? Looking towards our feet. And then all the way back down. So do that again. Really open up your chest. Press it up. Reach the legs away. Good. And now we're going to add some leg kicks into them. So as you do this, think back. You've just flipped over, but it's the same thing. So press and reach. And you're going to just lift and lower. We'll just do 3. Don't let the hips leave you. And then switch. Good. Woo. And then all the way down. Got a foot cramp. Go ahead, give it a little stretch. And then what we're going to do is a little bit more with the Kathy Grant, which is called opposites. So you're just going to lie back down. Feet are hip width apart. Arms at your side. So I want to do this because it's going to go back to some of kind of counter rotation, which we're going to think about in our push-up. Really? Yeah, we are. I'll explain. So take your right leg, your hip width apart, and just cross it over the left. Just like you're sitting cross-legged fully in a chair. And then what I want you to think about is you're going to take that bottom foot, it's kind of like a rudder. It's going to guide you so that you don't just fling over. Think this top leg is really heavy, and you're going to guide the knees off. And as we do this, the hip will come off first. So that hip's going to come off, and then you're just going up your back. And then the hip's going to come back first. Okay. Now what I want you to try is see if you can really think back to your corkscrew. Lift the hip. If you're using that foot, it'll roll to its side. Don't let the shoulder come off. Only go where you can go. And then think about pulling from the top of your back all the way so the hip is the last thing back. Nice. And then do that again. top leg is just heavy, heavy, heavy. So it's almost like that bottom leg is kind of pushing it back up, right? And then up, 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 up. Oh, yeah, use that bottom leg. It's working. And then uncross. Make sure they're hip width apart and switch. So now same thing. Opposite side. Think about that bottom foot kind of rolls off to its side. The hip will lift. Guiding over to the side. Feeling everything there. Only going where you can keep that shoulder down. And now think about that bottom leg pushing, and the hip is the very last thing up. And just breathe through. So it's exactly like our corkscrew. Pressing both shoulders even in your mat. And then pulling back to the center. And one more. All the way over. And then all the way back. Yeah. Nice. And then uncross. Okay. So lengthen your legs. Reach your arms back. We're going to roll all the way up. And we're going for our push-ups. So, I'll explain as we go. All right, guys. So we are standing for our push-up. And I want you to think about everything that we have done previously to this. I want you to think about all that work we did, right? Are we ready? Reach your arms up. Roll it down. Walk it out. Think about everything we just did. So think about those hips, not letting them wiggle, not letting them hike. And find that push-up and push that floor away. Inhale and exhale. Breathing through. Nice. Inhale, exhale, and then push, woo, all the way, rolling it up. You ready? Let's do it again. Roll back down, walk it out. Think about those hips, all that counter rotation we did, and down, and up. Breathing, I'm reminding myself, and back up, and then back up. Good job. All right, so, great job. Let's just sit and see how you feel. See if maybe you feel more even on your hips sitting. If you feel like you're more lengthened, feel more even. See how you feel compared to when we first started. So stability is really important, but what's even more important is that stability while we're moving, while we're being dynamic movement, right? Dynamic alignment. And think about that as you do your Pilates in your practice. Think about, yes, I'm stable, but I'm not like locked in where I can't move, right? Things need to move, but you've got to have some stability, especially in our hips, to help our back, to help with pain there, tightness. So it's very important. So you did awesome. Thank you. And I will see you next time. Enjoy. Bye.